Merry Christmas Eve, everybody! This is Samantha Paradina, and I wanted to make a video about actually a whole bunch of things, but just want to say Merry Christmas 2016. My kids are in Florida, and another child is Washington State, another one's in Oregon. I'm stuck here in my house because I'm not allowed to travel. I didn't get permission from the courts, but also it just worked out. My four kids with their children and spouses are going to be in one house in Florida. That's a lot of people. And I'm going through inner healing and stuff. So I've been 30 years raising children and being with a big family and being with people. I'm really enjoying this time by myself. And God is really blessing me. But what I wanted to talk about was I wanted to play that trailer from Titanfall 2 with the bang bang, but I think maybe because of the copyright I can't do it. How does Alex Jones play stuff? Because he talks over it and then he's allowed to show it because he's commenting on it. Can I show it and then like comment on it? But it's music. It's not a news piece. So I was going to play it in the background while I recorded my video and comment on it. One of my sons worked on the Titanfall 2 video game in the art department, being a military consultant. The style of it, when I look at it, that's his heart. I could see it. It's very dramatic. It's very heartfelt. It's very has like a nobility to it. It's a video game, you know. But if you've watched a lot of different video games, you'll see how it's very classy in the best sense of the word. It's tasteful. It has meaning to it. It's very well done. I encourage you to go look at that trailer, Titanfall 2, Become One. It shows the large robot thing and then the little man. I really think it has profound prophetic implications, whether people who did it know that or not. The Spirit works in mysterious ways. I guess I'll talk about that. I was going to talk about cursing and a bunch of other things, but it shows the underdog having faith against all odds. You know, there's the overwhelming enemy and you're surrounded and outnumbered, but through cunning strategy and working together, the large being with the small man. And I think that symbolizes the angels working with men nowadays in the earth, because angels are more and more in the earth nowadays. This isn't a crazy thing. If you look around you, everywhere you look, the spirit world is manifest in the physical. So, you know, if I was into witchcraft and stuff, you'd see that absinthe, the drug, and those fancy knives, or you'd see weird symbols and images of gruesome things. You know, that's the spirit manifesting in the natural. Like, I have flowers and I have words that mean things that are in my heart around me in my life. I like sparkly, shiny, happy things because I like life and joy. This Titanfall 2 trailer has the large, I don't know the names of these things. It's some kind of battle bot vehicle transport helper guy. It's just a very giant being helping a little small human, and it represents an angel with a man. And like, the people who created it don't even realize that. There's the sun in the beginning. The sun represents Jesus. You know, we don't have sun worship, but these things in the natural world reflect the spiritual world, and that's a source of life and light, and God is our source of light and life. It shows the sun. It shows them walking towards a purpose. It shows them working together, cooperating. It shows them having almost like a supernatural, like when the man threw the thing and it caught the robot's neck, the rope, and yet he had that faith to leap. It was like a leap of faith is right there in the middle of it. You know, I see things prophetically, so, you know, you might think you're really stretching and reaching for it, but I wonder if I could play a little bit of it and get away with it. Probably not. Maybe I'll just put the link in the description box. You know, if you read the Bible, there's a lot of fighting in there. It talks about war a lot. It talks about soldiers. It talks about overcoming the enemy. It talks about not giving up, even though you're facing overwhelming odds. It talks about cooperating and working together, not to be in pride and being a lone ranger, allowing people to help you when you need it, and allowing God to send his angels to help you, and knowing the difference. Like the big guy robot looked just like the bad guy robots, and the little man looked like it's hard to tell the good guys from the bad guys. They all look the same. But what is it they're doing, And they were defending themselves. So all those things landed and were attacking them. And they had strategy and wisdom. And they used that little grenade thing that they shot where it looked like they were outnumbered and surrounded as they were all being attacked. And they had that one shot and overcame them all. So I wasn't going to talk about that at all. That Titanfall video, even just how that little warrior guy walked and was thoughtful and methodical, and even there's a scene around the campfire where he's looking up into them. That looking up is a beautiful thing that God created, where children look at their parents, or we look up to God. And looking, it says, lift your eyes to the hills from whence comes your help. He was looking up, and that figure represents an angel. We don't worship angels, but we can communicate with them. That's in the Bible. And I'm not saying to look for that, because then you can open doors to wrong things. But God sends you one. You can do the test of the Spirit and ask it, who is Jesus? And it has to say the fullness of the test of the Spirit, not just, well, he was God in flesh. Okay, well, also he is Lord. Well, also he was born of a virgin. Well, also he died on the cross. Also he lived a sinless life. Also he rose from the dead. Like, all the fullness of the testimony of who Jesus is. Because all cults may have Jesus, but they'll have a piece missing. They won't do the full test of the Spirit. They'll do one part and highlight that, and oftentimes they'll use Old Testament scriptures out of context. That's how they justify subjugating women, killing, all the weird, strict, severe things like don't wear makeup and wear skirts and don't celebrate Christmas, or say this or say that, or all the outward trappings of that's not your spiritual life. It's a reflection of your spiritual life. So if you're very severe and extreme about wearing your hair in a bun, never wearing makeup because it's a law to you, that's evil. Actually, it's a religious spirit. So there's a lot of reasons I'm not wearing makeup. When I wear it, it makes me look worse sometimes. And when you're an older person, if you wear makeup, it emphasizes your age. So I'm just not very good at it, and I don't have that good quality. I love makeup. I think it's great. It's a beautiful artistic expression. There's nothing wrong with anything on the earth except we make it wrong by our evil hearts. Of course, murdering's wrong and raping's wrong. I get off on tangents, man. I was just going to say Merry Christmas and talk about this cursing subject that came up. Maybe I'll make a separate video. Titanfall 2, y'all. Check out the trailer with the sunrise and the big man and the little man. And there's a little gunfight scene. It's very tastefully done. It's not gory. They show the man's arm recoiling. They don't show him actually shooting. Like, they show him raising his arm, but then they show electricity. They show things blowing up, but not blood. I know people who watch a lot of different video games would realize that's very tame and very tastefully done, and it's elegant. The song is elegant. The visuals are elegant. It's really very stunning. I would compare it to The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, of having a hidden meaning, even if they didn't even intend it, because it's by the Spirit. The Spirit will work through us whether we know it or not. Maybe that does go along with the cursing. You could even go to the extremes. The way to expose ridiculous arguments is take them to their extremes. So you could say never ever kill. Could be an extreme. There may be a time when you should kill. The Bible even says there's a time for everything under the sun. If at all possible, we try not to, but it's not always murder if you kill somebody. There's justifiable homicide, there's self-defense, there's going to a legitimate war to defend a nation. There's stopping bad guys, A religious spirit would say, would have that pacifist spirit of, I don't ever want to kill. And that's your personal choice between you and God. I've never killed anybody that I know of. And I don't plan to, and I'm not advocating it. I'm saying when we make rules and justify ourselves, it's a religious spirit. I never wear lipstick. I've never said a curse word. Lips that touch wine will never touch mine. I've never had a Christmas tree or decorated with Santa Claus wrapping paper my whole life. There's really worse things than that. And the church world is all caught up in this. Did you come to church 3 times this week? And did you give your tithe? And what do your children look like? And what does your Christmas tree look like? Like, do you have one? They're very, very caught up in these superficial things, and they don't realize that their neighbors, some of them, are secretly Satanists who rape and murder and eat children when nobody's looking. So this is not a little thing, and this isn't even something I would want to talk about. God just keeps bringing it up. So I'm going to include the cursing in this, because I guess it kind of goes along with, some people won't even ever watch that video, because it's a video game, for one thing, which is modern society, and the whole world is in it, and you're completely irrelevant if you don't have one clue about modern technology. Yes, there could be an example of someone who God told you to go live in the mountains and to have nothing. Okay, if God told you to do that, do that. But overall, he's not going to have everybody do that. He's going to have us live in society and not be of it, but we're going to live in it, and we can put ourselves in there. We can put good in there. And as far as it lies with us, we can speak well and do well and influence well in a godly way, not in a controlling way. So this cursing thing is very interesting, because I could say I had a cursing spirit way back when. I never did as a child because I wasn't allowed to, so I didn't. I think a couple times as a teenager or a preteen even, my little sister and I said GD it a couple times, and they're like, just like we littered once to see what it was like. We just didn't like doing bad things, so we didn't do it. It was dumb. Stupid idiots. I had one friend who was, as a teen, a gay man, who I really had a crush on him. He's very handsome, he's very sweet and nice, and I liked people who weren't violent and aggressive. But he was gay. So he was my friend, but he was not reciprocal. He didn't have a crush on me. But he did have a bad mouth. And one year we sang all the Christmas songs, vile ways, just walking around the town, just doing nothing, just walking around. And that wasn't my idea, that was his idea, but I went along with it. And he cursed and cursed and cursed. And I did some. Maybe there's a couple years where I did a little bit. Really, you would laugh, of me saying, oh, I repent of cursing. You would just laugh, because it's nothing compared to what, some people could do. But still, every little bit of sin is not perfection, whatever. I repent before God for every little thing. And I guess years ago when I first got born again, I didn't want to curse around my children. I didn't want to say shut up. I would say be quiet. I didn't want to call them bad names. I never called them stupid or ugly. I never said you're lazy, or I didn't do that. I may slip up and yell, and I may have slipped up, and I did pull my daughter's hair one time, and I slapped somebody one time, and that was horrible, and I repented of that, and I said I was sorry, but it wasn't a habit to curse and say bad things right away when I had 2 little toddlers. Even my ex told me, some guy at work said, they say please and thank you. I mean, I just started to grow up and be an adult and say, oh, maybe I should. I always had manners. Believe me. Just look at me, okay? I didn't come from tough streets. I never had a foul mouth. My mom said, oh, shitski, She didn't curse. So whatever. when I had 2 little toddlers, I tried to clean up my act and not say rude things and be extremely polite. And I was very controlled of my own self, and God gave me self-control. It was a mixture. But I didn't curse for, I don't know, 25 years. I didn't drink alcohol. I didn't swear. I didn't watch bad things on TV. I hardly ever watched TV. I think I really did have a religious spirit about it, though. Because this is what it does if you make a law about it, it blinds you. So you can have a lot of people walking around society, like little Stepford wife people in the church. This is how they are. Where you try to tell them, you know, there's this bad stuff going on. If they don't want to know about it, I don't watch those kind of movies. When I first woke up to mind control abuses and bad things in the world 3 years ago, Fritz Springer was posting, you know, if you want to know about it, watch this movie, watch that movie. And I thought, that's violence. And I don't know, there might be something bad in it. I watched Eyes Wide Shut. Oh my gosh, I watched that. But I watched it with a critical eye and praying the whole time. I didn't watch it to enjoy it. I wasn't watching it but because I was compromising my values being with other people and they were intimidating me or peer pressure or something. I chose to watch to see what is going on in the world. And I learned a big lesson from that money is behind a lot of this evil. Because people don't really enjoy murder and rape and eating human flesh and drinking blood. They really don't. That's an acquired taste once you've taken out a bunch of demons that are evil. Then you could begin to enjoy that. But people don't naturally enjoy that. But there's this big money incentive. The money, and power draws people in, and then they're caught in this web they think they can't get out of. Oh, my back hurts. Oh, I gotta sit up straight. Because I had refused to watch any movies like that, I was actually kept in the dark, and the enemy enjoys that because everybody's ignorant of his devices. Don't even believe he exists that badly in the earth, and they believe all these lies because they can't hear one curse word. And I'd been praying for help for years and years, and I could not curse. I did not have a problem not cursing, and I didn't have a problem not doing drugs, and I didn't have a problem not watching bad things. Like, I didn't have a problem. When my kids were little, you know, I asked God to help me stop saying anything bad by accident if I was in anger or something, and stop being rude. Like, just say please and thank you and excuse me and stuff like that. But when I went to Beauty for Ashes, I learned about spirits are a real thing that Christians can have. They're not just everybody else has them. You lose control and you're out of control, and you know something's overwhelming you. There's spiritual influences we can't see. There's another dimension overlapping this dimension. You just don't see it. It's real. If you think about it logically, it even makes sense. It's not normal for a human being to kill another human being and enjoy that. That's a murderous spirit. Okay, so I was asking God for help to get out of my blindness. And the church only helped me so much with my problems to where my problems were so bad, they denied they existed. They told me I was crazy. So I had to get help somewhere, and I kept praying and going to God, and I read his word, and he gave me some people who prophesied to me for 6 months straight online, which is my lifeline to God because I was so broken. I could barely think straight, and that God used that man to minister to me. And people would say, in the religious world, they think you've been prayed for enough. Well, maybe God knows what's enough, and he knows how much I needed. I needed to be prophesied to 3 times a week for 6 months straight. You don't know where I've come from. I don't need that. So we have our templates in our head and our scripts and our images of how we think things should be. And you know what? We're not God. So when he led to me to this man's videos about narcissism, and I'm not going to say his name all the time, but for this particular video, he happened to curse a lot because he was explaining a lot of abuse from his childhood, and in him letting his own self be free to express what happened to him, he wasn't trying to monitor every word that came out of his mouth, so he cursed a lot. But God led me to it, and it was showing me truths that I wasn't learning in the church world because, you know, a lot in the church world, people are narcissists. And the power and authority structure is a narcissistic thing. The religious spirit is narcissistic. It cares about its own image more than truth, more than people. So this is a big indictment against the church, that God had to raise up a man who's just a regular person. But they cursed a lot. Now, I've watched their videos over the years, and they curse less and less. But that's not for me, you know. God says it's not wise to compare people. But he did tell the Pharisees, you strain a gnat and swallow a camel. That's comparing a gnat to a camel. A gnat is a little annoyance, and a camel is a huge mother lode reserve of not going away something. Gnat, you know, you brush it off, it's gone, and it's a little annoying. A camel is big and dangerous and has sustenance to it. I think people secretly worshiping Satan, torturing people behind closed doors, murdering people, being cannibals, using high-tech stuff to enslave people's minds with electricity and elf waves, governments controlling people. Control is this really bad thing. It's not bloody. It doesn't sound bad to your ears like a curse word. It's not ugly to look at. Control can be very pretty and orderly looking. Control has an image to it that seems good. So I'm talking about cursing and heroes and villains in this video. This man on this YouTube channel is a hero of mine. Jesus is my ultimate hero, but we're made in his image and he uses us for his purposes. And this man is a hero because he spoke the truth from his heart. And it wasn't perfect, but he was exposing evil. And God used him mightily and will continue to use him mightily. And I'm not trying to justify cursing, but I'm saying that's not the ultimate evil. And if you're a Christian, you know, I think I need to do a series on this. This is an in-depth subject. I, as a Christian who I've been for 30 years, I'm like even feeling inside myself, oh, don't even talk about it. Why? Why can't we talk about this? You don't want to hear the horrible abuses I've been through because as I try to tell you about it, a curse word comes out? Or you'd rather associate with people who can dress in fancy clothes and look very clean and proper and nice and know the etiquette of the forks and the knives and when to open doors and close doors and when to stand and sit when chairs are pulled in and out. But you know, these same people are murderers. Did you know that? A lot of them are very evil people, but it looks so good on the outside. So I could understand, yes, if you are a minister and you're trying, but even this is a wrong thing. Because who says that image is the right thing? You know, Joyce Meyer smoked cigarettes when she first did Bible studies and was blowing smoke in people's faces telling them about Jesus. God didn't strike her dead for that. You know, eventually she cleaned up her act and wanted to be healthy and let that go. And yes, smoking represents a counterfeit anointing. And in heaven, there's incense that we breathe, and smoke is just like breathing the atmosphere of hell. Okay, well, this is hell and heaven on earth, and, you know, whatever. You don't want to smoke. There's worse things than smoking, though. That's between you and God. That's like a gnat. Smoking a cigarette and saying a curse word is a gnat. Being hateful and prideful and closing your eyes and ears to seeing and hearing evil because you don't want it to touch you is condemned in the Bible, where God says, here are these two people. Who's justified? The Pharisee who says, I'm glad I'm not like this sinner. I don't curse and I don't steal. I don't do bad things. And there's the other guy beating his chest saying, God, forgive me. I'm a sinner. We are all that person. God forgive me, I'm a sinner. And to whatever degree is between us and God. Unless you're breaking laws of the land. And really murder and rape and, a few other vile things are way up there as camels. It's a camel. I'm going to have to make a series out of this. This is 25 minutes already, and I haven't even brought up a subject. I thought I could just touch on this and touch on that. It's a whole subject in itself, which it just went out of my head. Oh, it's a whole subject in itself to talk about how some bad people won't listen to you unless you say a curse word. And I'm going to mention it now so I can come back and watch this in case I forget it later. Like the Butterfly Effect movie with Ashton Kutcher. I watched it years ago. And it was about sexual abuse and time travel and the Butterfly Effect. But they cursed against the bad guys. And at that time, I remember specifically thinking about it. Well, I'll talk about that more later. And Malcolm in the Middle had an episode where the kid was so like, you can't make me do something bad. Or he was just sticking to his principle of how he wanted to do things. I don't have a cursing spirit anymore. I've been delivered of that. I've said curse words a few times because I chose to. Whether that's a sin or not is between me and God, because God made every word. He made everything. It's your heart behind it that makes it a sin. You can even listen to it and hear it. There's no spirit in it. There's no cursing spirit in it. It sounds ridiculous. It doesn't have the right oomph to it. But the narcissist won't listen to you sometimes unless you curse. And I think the narcissist in my life thought he could just keep skating by here, and as long as he was helpless, I would let him stay forever. And no, it worked out that God let the situations be where I was put in a pinch and he was put in a pinch, and he just had to get out and get a job. And then with the change in the address and stuff, he could still skate by with that. But I don't think he's seen the video I made where I said that one curse word in it. But I'll show that to him eventually. He knows me. I don't curse, and he would know. Narcissists know when you mean something and when you don't, and they lie to their own selves too. When I said that curse word, if he ever sees that, he would know that he knows I mean it. Because he knows I don't curse. I was asking God to show me examples in the Bible where Jesus cursed, and he called the Pharisees vipers, which I think calling someone a snake could be considered a curse word. He called them whitewashed tombs. He called them a brood of vipers. He called them children of the devil. It's kind of like calling someone a bastard. I don't know. Then it struck me, he became a curse for us. We walk through this world, and we can get washed every day. I repent of my sins. God, please forgive me, great and small. Forgive me the hidden motives of my heart, the selfishnesses and the jealousies and the anything. But I really don't sin. I don't live a sinful life. It's not in my heart to want to do evil. And it's not in my heart to want to even think evil, because I've been training my heart and my mind for years by the Holy Spirit. And I don't really have it in me to do anything wrong. I just don't want to have a wrong motive, or to do anything that agrees with the darkness and evil and badness, which I know is personified in demons. And the one specific head demon, who's Lucifer, fallen from grace, now Satan. I don't want to agree with him. I don't want to have anything in common with him. And I don't advocate cursing. What I'm trying to expose is there's a spirit that never curses. And it's already an evil spirit, in that it is a curse. But this is 29 minutes. I'm going to cut this off here, and I'm going to come back and watch this and then do spin-off videos from this, because this is a big subject. I really don't even want to talk about this. I'd rather talk about some scriptures and stuff, which I want to do some videos on scriptures. But Merry Christmas, everybody. I pray y'all don't get hung up on religious arguments of having a tree or not having a tree, or, you know, I love God. He was born sometime or other in flesh, and we're going to celebrate it now? Fine. I'd rather be celebrating Jesus, whether people are out there being sacrificed and satanic rituals on the same day, then all the more reason to celebrate Jesus on this day. So, Merry Christmas, God bless you, and I'll be making some more videos on this topic of cursing and religious spirits and blindness. Okay, bye.